right, guys, welcome back to the 406 Stacker channel, coming to you from the last best place. I've got 2 bars here in front of me and then 4 other ones to show you. So the first 2 are going to be going into the guardhouse. Now, I did this video. This is the second time I did it. My camera had flipped, so everything got recorded in the wrong orientation. So take 2. So these are both USSC bars. Sorry. United States Silver Corporation. 1 troy ounce, 999 fine. This first one is an Israeli bar. It's their silver anniversary commemorative, 1948 to 1973. Just thought this was a nice bar. Anything with United States Silver Corp I try to pick up. So that is going to go in the 24th spot in this box. This next one I need your guys' help with. This is the Cheetah bar, Losing the Race Against Extinction, 1974. Really like this, the fine details in the grass here, little leopard print spots on there, even kind of the African type scenery in the background. Pretty cool bar, dimpled around the edge like the Israeli bar. But this one has a serial number on the bottom of 39. So I'm curious, I wondered if this was a limited production or not. If anybody has the Archie Kidd book that could look that up for me and comment, that would be very helpful. So those are the 2 bars that are going into the guardhouse. Now I had 4 other bars, and I'll show you them here in a second. So this guardhouse box has my newer sticker on it, stack as big as the sky. And then I've got this vintage silver book. And I showed you guys this last, last 1 or 2 videos. I'm not sure. But I showed you this book, and I got it specifically because I thought some bars might not fit into the guardhouse capsules. And that's exactly what happened. Number 3 of this Justice Mint bar would not fit, or that's the only one that fit. 1 and 2 and 4 would not. And a matter of fact, number 1 didn't even want to fit in this book. I actually ended up taking a Dremel tool and going around the edge with a little sandpaper like rasp to get this to open up enough to get that bar in there. So this is the vintage silver book, and I put my more vintage type sticker in here. This would have been last year's sticker. And then I've got the 4 bars here. So we'll just go through them. Phase 1, food, gasoline, rent, working man's wages, 90-day freeze. Phase 2, retail stores, supermarkets, gasoline, all with base pricing, wage and price control. Number 3, grains, food, credit tightens, runaway inflation, price controls lifted. And you can see a rocket going there because everything's going up. And then phase 4, no beef, no gas, 10% prime rate, 60-day freeze, wage and price control. Now, a little story about that. These were minted back in the 70s, right? And my dad told me stories about when he was dating my mother. He lived in Pennsylvania, and she lived over in New York. And it was a couple 100-mile trip, and he actually had to plan his trip based on the license, the days of the week corresponded with like the last number of your license plate. You could, like, if you had an odd or an even number, you could only fill up on certain days. So he had to plan his trip according to that so that he could get gas while he was driving to and from her place. They had a farm, so they had some farm exemptions, and he had some fuel cans just in case he couldn't get fuel. Because even though you could pull up to a pump and you might be allowed to get gas, they might not have it. So they were thinking of this stuff, and we should be thinking of this right now too. I fully believe that there is going to be a collapse in the next year or 2. It wouldn't surprise me if it happens in 25, more likely in 26 or towards the end of 25. The powers that be do not like our current president at all, and they will do anything they can, including crashing an economy, to make him look bad. It's part of their agenda, right? They need to do. They need to get everybody onto the central bank digital currency, cryptocurrency. That way, there is nobody doing this kind of stuff, right? Nobody stacking, nobody squirreling money away. It sounds good to get rid of all the taxes and stuff, but that's a temporary reprieve, I feel. Uh, at some point, they'll be back and they'll be able to track every single penny. And depending on carbon, right? There's you guys maybe not have heard about the carbon taxes that are up in Canada, but it's very real. They're paying double their utility bills because of the carbon tax. Recently, my wife ordered a couple pairs of shoes online. Those shoes came with a receipt that had a carbon tax on it. I had a hotel recently that I stayed at, and it told me the amount of carbon that I used or that was consumed during my stay. So all that is in play already. And what they're going to do is they're going to limit how much carbon tax or credits you have per year. When you're out, you're out. So it doesn't matter if you have money, you can't buy anything because you out of the carbon taxes. Now you could buy carbon taxes from somebody, right? So somebody like me that has a lot of acreage, I can store carbon because of my trees and my grass and things like that. Although I may get fined because I have cows and they fart, right? Don't know. But you would be able to store some of that carbon maybe as a credit. You might be able to sell that to somebody. Somebody that's poor could probably sell their credit to somebody that's rich that has all the money in the world and wants to fly around the world and they don't care about carbon. They'll just buy it from somebody that, needs money. So all that is coming about, and I believe, there's certain things that have to happen. One of them is the banking system that we have right now has to go through these 4 phases, right? It has to happen in a certain manner. Once that happens, at that point, they'll be able to reset the dollar to what they want. They're going to reset a bunch of the currencies around the world, and it's going to be an interesting time. So, guys, I hope you're stacking silver. I hope you're stacking gold, but you should really be stacking food and a way to defend yourself if you have not done that yet. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was the price of gold. Gold hit just a little over $3,000 an ounce today, but silver fell off a little bit. So they're still pushing that, 90 to 1 gold silver ratio. And I don't know where the historical is going to be on that. It is mined at a 7 to 1. So here in western Montana where I live, you can go to the streams and pull out pieces of gold like that. Okay. You can go down to the streams and pull that out. I got these from my Secret Santa this year. It was part of his gift. Silver, on the other hand, does not come out of the ground like that. This is how silver comes out of the ground. It's a rock. This is very heavy. It's probably 2 to 3 pounds, that small rock, okay? That came out of the Lucky Friday mine over in Kellogg, Idaho, Wallace, Idaho area. That is very rich ground over there. Runs hundreds of ounces per ton. So you can imagine a wheelbarrow load of this stuff has hundreds of ounces in it. They're a mile deep in that mine, okay? Very cost prohibitive compared to mining gold. Everybody watches Parker up there in Canada, right? He digs a hole in the ground, pulls gold out. Obviously, there's more to it. But with silver, you have to haul this up. Now, they're hauling it from a mile down, right? They're hauling it to the surface. Then they have to break it down. They basically break it down into almost a talcum powder. They crush it through a jaw crusher. Then it goes through another process, a rod mill or a ball mill that has very fine particles in it. It's washed out with water. Then they separate it. I'll insert a short little clip of it here. But they have to do all that process. And then, like here in the States, we can't even process some of it. It gets shipped up into Canada to process it. So think about the tariffs there, right? If we're shipping our silver to Canada to process it because we don't have the energy or the environmentalists are crazy about it, that's what we have to do. So I can't imagine that the gold to silver ratio stays at this 90 to 1. Silver and gold come out of the ground at a ratio of 7 to 1. Much less than what we're doing. A lot of the silver that I buy, right? All this stuff was mined, 50 years ago, right? Here's another one. This is from the 70s too. Here's one that I just bought a peace dollar from the 20s. All this silver that a lot of us collectors collect was mined anywhere from 100 50 to 100 years ago. So we're playing in a market that's not even touched by the current stuff coming out of the ground, short of maybe getting, some newer stuff. This is a 2014. So this was only mined 10 years ago. But even that, when I bought that, that didn't affect really the silver price on the commodities market because it's a used piece, right? There's a lot of recycling that's gone down. I just was watching a video from one of the subscribers, and he was talking about the tri-state mint. Oh, and I was in South Dakota, and they did recycled X-rays. That's how they got their silver. So, the silver that's coming out of the ground is probably mostly going towards industrial stuff, solar panels, electric cars, things like that. And there's going to come a point where there's not enough used silver on the market to fill the void for people like me and people like you. And they're going to have to go and, get real silver, the modern stuff that's being mined, in order to compete in the market. And that's going to drive prices up. I fully expect prices to be a couple $100 in a few years. Again, I don't know if that'll happen in 25 or 26. My buddy does charting for cryptocurrency and the NASDAQ and things like that. He plugged in some silver the other day and gold. Gold pretty much stays right where it's at, right around 3,000. Might bump up to 3,100, goes down to 2,700. Silver goes up to like 271 on his charts. Now that's based on historical data. It doesn't have a timeline on that, so I can't tell you it's going to happen anytime soon. And nothing I say obviously is financial advice. But as for me and my house, we are going to continue to stack silver and silver and silver. I do have a little bit of gold, and I will buy fractional gold once in a while. But I'm going to be hammering silver until the prices go crazy. And at that point, the gold-silver ratio may change a little bit, and then I can adjust from there. Guys, I hope you got something from this. Sorry I had to reshoot this. I didn't get the snap capsules. I know some of you guys like that, but since I had to reshoot this, this was the best way I could do it. Until next time, stack as big as the sky.